Good afternoon, everyone. We are live on the show. Today, I'm very excited to be speaking with a Padma Shri award winner. He's a prolific investor, chairman at 314 Capital, chairman and co-founder at RN Capital, chairman at Manipal Global Education, and one of the top professionals in the country. Welcome to this discussion, Mr. Mohandas Pai.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Good to be here.
So the theme today, Mr. Pai, is winning in a crisis. And these are hard times for everyone, but how can startups win in crisis? You more than anyone else, right? Given that you've invested in or helped start 14 different investment vehicles, ranging from seed stage all the way to private equity, what advice are you giving your companies and your startups? What do they need to do to win in this COVID crisis?
Well, my personal view is that, all startups are cash flow businesses. Okay. They need to get the cash coming in. The music has to keep going. Music stops, you have no cash, you are in trouble. Whatever be your business, whatever be your output. So you got to keep the cash going. And that means at any point of time, you must have enough cash to meet all your expenses for the next 12 months without having to earn a single penny of revenue. So if your cash flow stops and your cash keeps coming down, you have to cut your costs, cut your fixed costs. Don't lay off people. You need to keep your people, but make sure that everybody shares the last longer. And I think that elongates everything else. That's point number one, because that is the immediate thing. You need money to spend on your expenses, negotiate with all your creditors, bring down your fixed costs, etc. Second, there's a good time for you to relook at all your product portfolio. See what is your business. Has the business been working? Has the business been creating annuity streams for you? Is it sticky? Are your customers loving it? Look at your processes, look at your products and change them so that customers like it, they meet the needs of customers, and customers find it easy to come and they get a great service. For example, to give an example, like the Uber 3-click, many portals, you find that when you have to do business, you have to go through an excruciating amount of detail. Why should all that be there? Just look at it, make it much easier. So customers are very happy to do business with you and you meet a need of theirs. And the third thing, really look at what business you are in, whether the business is actually sustainable. Many people get carried away by valuation. And they think that, I'm going to get money, so I burn the money, then I go for a higher value, people will give me money, I have to get eyeballs, or I have to get number of people, monthly active users, daily active users, all that nice stuff which you have been getting. So they get carried away with all that. But remember, at the end of the day, you've got to understand what is your business in the startup. There are three kinds of businesses. The first business is a network business or algorithmic business, where the number of people coming on is what is going to give you an opportunity to earn revenue and make a sustainable business. It's like a Facebook or a Google or a Snapchat, etc. But these are very difficult businesses. You don't get them all along. They're very, very rare. The second is a business in tech where technology is at the front end and the back end remains the same. For example, look at an e-commerce company. What is an e-commerce company? It has a lot of goods that you want to buy on the portal. Everything is the front end, millions of them. They have no stores. Maybe some of them have stores, but you can see a lot of products. But the back end, you need warehouses, you need supply chain, you need accounting, you need financing, you need purchases, you need all the things that you do in a physical store. Except the business has gone from a store to the front end. So you're a business, and every business has to be sustainable over a period of time. You can grow very fast in the business because the normal conditions which inhibit growth, like keeping the number of stores, execution, is not there for you. Probably you'll get much more capital. But at the end of the day, it has to be a viable business. If you start giving subsidies just to raise your, water revenues, and much more comes back as returns, you're going to be in deep trouble. For example, you can create $100 billion business selling Apple Macs or Apple iPhones or iPads, giving them 20% discount. Apple will be able to love to give you the product and you can sell it because everybody wants a great discount. It's a standard products, but they're coming to you for the price. They're not coming to you because of the experience. So you got to build a sustainable business. And the third kind of businesses is a B2B tech business where you're selling a tech product. To give an example, everybody understand is like Darwin Box or an Oracle or for example, Microsoft, etc. You're selling a tech business, it's B2B, and it carries on. It could be B2B2C. Once you know your business, you got to reconfigure it to make sure that the business is sustainable. People want that. You found a niche, you must grow. And I see many startups who have a very small niche product. It means a small niche, and they think they got a solution. But will you be able to grow revenues for that? Will you be able to be a sustainable business? Because capital is not unlimited. People are not going to pour money into you because they got a lot of money to pour. And because in the marketplace, you must understand one important thing. Valuation moves ahead of value creation. Then the market collapses. Then you got to get value creation to get a new valuation. It's like the stock market, right? Valuation goes up, then the market falls, then the company's growth comes to meet whatever the value, then people say it is cheap and people buy on. That's the way life is. Life moves in circles. There is euphoria, irrational exuberance, and then there is a fall. So you must understand the cycles and get prepared for the cycles. And you must always raise capital when capital is available. You can't raise capital when capital is not available. So if you're able to raise capital when it's available, create a sustainable cash flow, keep money in the bank, use this crisis to reshape your business, cut down your fixed costs, make it viable, redo your product, and check up your entire portfolio and see where you are, then you are going to be the winner on the block. And that requires an ability to do deep analysis, deep insight, and leadership by example. Founders have a very tough life. It's not an easy life. It is 24/7. You have no personal life. The euphoria may get you. You may get a valuation. Suddenly you say, I'm a billionaire. There is no meaning. Because every time you sign an agreement, I'm sure, Adil, you know this too, with an investor, you are last down the pecking order. Everybody's got liquidity preference. Everybody's got, if you look at all that, man, you are last down. And you must make sure that in your quest for growth, you don't become an employee. You are an entrepreneur. You are an owner of the business. You decide. Investors invest because of you. And when investors invest because of you, you must make sure that you decide, not them. If they're going to decide for you, you should tell them to run the business and become an investor because they are better than you, right? But you must run the business because you think you have an idea. So it's a very tough life for a founder. And I think it's a lonely life, it's a tough life. So you got to step up, and people are supporting because of you. And you got to change and carry people along.
Absolutely. So what you said resonates with me because we have Sequoia, Amazon, Experian as investors, and they have brought up with us saying, think of the product of the future. If social distancing continues, if people can't make direct contact, look at your contactless issuance of credit product. Also plan for the long-term sustainability, control your discretionary costs. So I think that's very, very good advice. It completely resonates with what we at Bank Bazaar are seeing. Now, I think that you have in your current avatar unique position of being invested in 250 companies. Prior to that, you built and scaled one of India's most reputable companies. Now, you've seen leaders at various levels, young leaders, older leaders. You've been a board member at top companies. What are the traits that you think will enable leaders to succeed in this crisis, Mr. Pai?
Well, I think the traits that required to leaders to sustain here is an ability to look at the future and have a proper vision of what your business is. So you must understand you must have deep knowledge of what a business, what you want to do. Look at Baiju. I mean, I really admired Baiju. I mean, Baiju is a truly extraordinary guy. He hit up on this idea maybe 10 years ago when he was running a business where he was running test prep for people who want to get into IIM. And this guy wrote the exam. He knew everything else. He could teach people. And he discovered a very important thing. People, if they enjoy learning, they retain it in their mind. They can answer any question. So you must have teaching in a way where people actually learn. And he was able to do it, carry off. And once he found that business not growing, he got into K-12 education, taking up the higher classes. And there he made it fun for young people to learn. Because for young people, you got to retain the curiosity. Even they're curious. If you bore them too much, do routine teaching, they're going to go away. So he did it in a very experimental, very nice way, where they really understood and enjoyed it. And he built great technology. He built a great team. He was the teacher first, and he was able to grow. And then he came out with good products. He raised capital at the right time, and he grew. So what are the essential things? You must have a great vision of your business. You must have details of a business. You must have the business plan in your head. You should be able to be woken up at 12 midnight or 2 o'clock when you sleep, and you should be able to tell everybody the business plan in maybe a few sentences. If you are going to talk for 2 hours a business plan, people will forget what you said in the first minute, in the fourth minute, right? So you got to be able to explain what you want to do, and you should know that in detail. And every day, what happens, you must connect. So you must connect the macro with the micro. Now you must realize you live in an economy, you live in a society. What is happening in society will impact you. So at the mind, you should be able to think and connect the macro with the micro all the time. The next thing is you should build a team of people. You can't be a loner. You can't be the super ego where everybody comes. Shraddha Sharma had a wonderful article long back. I remember every startup should have a visionary, a hacker, and a hustler. A hacker for technology, a hustler to market, right? Because one person cannot do all that. You need a visionary. So you need a team of people who will be the core team, and they will have a team. And you must make sure everybody gets a role to do, and the life becomes fulfilling. See, you must create a dream which creates passion in people. So people will wake up in the morning, bang their head against the wall. If the wall doesn't fall, even if they fall, they're 6 feet ahead, right? So they must have the passion. They're going to build, they're going to dream, they're going to make the future. And that for young people can last 10, 15 years before they burn out. All of us have been through this burnout, and it is exhilarating. You wake up with new confidence, you do great things because you have got enormous energy. So you must be able to enthuse them. So this personal experience of enthusing people, inspiring people has to be there. And then you got to be a shrewd finance person, right? You must know money, because it's money that makes the mayor go. It's money that makes the world go round. You know it, Adil. It's all about money, honey. It's all about money. So you must make sure you know how to handle your finances. You must have a good investor relations. You must send a one-page note to all the investors what you have done. Talk to them once in 2 months, once in 3 months. Keep informing them. Make them your friends so they support you. They have full trust in you. And set up very good governance mechanism. Never use company money for personal purposes, and always create trust, because trust is the biggest issue on which they invested in you. They're backing you because when they back you is an idea, right? So they're going to back you, and you must always make sure, think about when you need money and keep talking to new investors. Go meet them once a quarter, pitch to them, talk to them. Don't ask for money. So when you need money, they're all prepared, they're all there, and you can go pitch and they'll give you the money, because they've known you for some time. Because people, institutions take a long time to take decisions. And the last thing, what you got to do, you must stop believing you're Superman. Nobody is a Superman. The market dominates everybody. The market is the king. The economy is the king, right? Nobody is so great that the whole world will shake at them. We have seen great emperors, great kings, great presidents disappear, right? And nobody cares a damn. Let's be very clear. All right? Now you got a chance, you got to play the stage, you're on center stage, you play it very well, the thalis come, the rewards come, and don't think it's come only because you are the greatest, like Muhammad Ali used to say. Yes, you've done very well, believe in yourself, do it, and institutionalize the company over a period of time. Because you've been running it for 8-10 years, it hurts you, it crimps you, you become a victim of processes, you become a victim of the environment. So create a team so that you can look at things which excite you, creating the brand, right? Creating new businesses, meeting customers, and making sure that you review and make things work. So all these qualities have to be in an individual, but it requires enormous passion, enormous belief. It requires humility. Humility. You must have humility to understand that you may not be the smartest guy in town. There's so many people smarter than you, but you are the boss for whatever reason. You have been there. Listen to them, get the best idea, and make it work. And if you find people smarter than you, just get them, give them a little bit stock option, make them work 14, 18 hours. They're going to create wealth for you because you own the largest part of your business, right? So do that. And if you have all these possibilities, you got to have great HR, an inspiration personality. You got to have gravitas. You got to have a shrewd mind. You should be able to analyze in your head and solve problems. You're able to do all that, well, you'll succeed.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the things which they don't teach you in a business class is managing your board, managing your investors. At the end of the day, they are stakeholders also. So we all talk about client management, understanding your client. For me, it's the banks, it's the NBFCs, the fintechs, but also understanding your board of directors, your investors, and managing that relationship like you manage any other relationship makes a lot of sense. I think one of the things I've really internalized as something we have to do at Bank Bazaar is to paint a clear picture. Like you said, even if someone wakes you up at midnight, what will the company look like 12 months from now? It's going to be 80% digital or contactless. It's going to be profitable. it's going to be a team size which is of this quantity. So painting that clear picture so people know where we're headed, which is that vision you spoke about. So definitely makes a lot of sense. Now, given
And
that,
Adil, profit is not a dirty word. You
Mhm.
must make obscene amounts of money.
Right,
Okay, you must make obscene amounts of money, and
right,
that's profit. Okay, that's where we
right,
get value at the end of the day.
right.
Value is not there because you spent more money. I mean, you can't valuation cannot be the amount of money that you spend. Okay, you got to make
Right.
obscene amounts of money. So there is a role for profit. Profit is a very nice word.
Absolutely, Mr. Pai. I think that's the feedback coming from everyone in this investment climate, saying the company has to be EBITDA profitable. So growth is one thing, but a combination of EBITDA profit and growth is what everyone is looking for. So that is the new message. And by the way, like you rightly pointed out, it's different from what we heard in 2013, but this is what is required now, profit, and like you said, huge amounts. Now, given that you have a 250 company view, right, which is very unique, can you highlight for us a noteworthy action that you believe a startup has taken that impressed you in the way they have responded to COVID? And is that action important to winning in this crisis?
Well, I think the first action, many of this company, I'm so happy to see those companies said this. We have to get into survival mode. This is the time for survival because we are seeing a crisis with no end in sight. We don't know what is going to happen. Everything is locked in. We don't know when it's going to come in normal. And Adil, the economy is scary. The
Mhm.
global GDP is $82 trillion. And
Mhm.
IMF said we're going to be 4.5% minus yesterday. But I believe
Mhm.
it'll be 8 to 10% minus. 8
Wow.
to 10% minus. That means we're going to be down $8 trillion. And
Mhm.
today I read an article which said the central banks have built up liquidity of $17 trillion. The bond market is gone. They're the largest bond owners in the world. So
Mhm.
now the world has changed so dramatically. We don't know what is going to happen. It's going to take 2 or 3 years for the world to come back to the GDP that was on 31st December 2019. All right. Now, when everything is down, the digital era has come upon you. Everybody's habit has changed. People are gone digital. You have a great chance being a tech company to succeed because the world is moving in your favor. If this has not happened, it's taken 3 to 5 years for the world to go digital. Now, digital has been thrust upon you. And who has succeeded? All the people who are already digital first have succeeded because they went out and did it. For example, look at a company called Licious. Licious is the gourmet food business. They have scaled up dramatically. They worked their butts off. They scaled up dramatically. Great good service. They were able to do so many things. They spent wisely on sending the stuff by air, building up teams, putting up all the people into hotels to make sure they deliver. They did a great job. So what I've seen across is one, they said this is an opportunity for us to reconfigure our business, get into survival mode. Survival mode means look at cash. I keep repeating that. Look at cash, and make sure that we become sustainable so don't have to worry how to pay the bills tomorrow. Second, look at a business model. If you got a good model, go ahead. And how do you cater to the needs of people who are logged in? How do you make sure we can supply to them, whether it's physical or is electronic or digital? Do all that. That's the second. And third, how to keep people together? How to keep morale up? Because uncertainty reduces morale. Everybody gets scared. Am I going to have a job? What am I going to do? And for that, all of them, all of them said, I'm going to take a hit on my salary first. They didn't say, I'm going to cut, I'm going to sack you and all that. They didn't do that. All of them said, I'm going to take a hit on my salary. This is my hit. All the team members are going to do that. And people who are lower down are not going to take a large hit because we need to survive. Everybody has to survive. We should have enough to survive. And then they came out with a plan in 15 days to the investors and say, hey, this is what we see. What do you think? Well, how can we work? And everybody put their head together. They came out with a plan and then now they're executing the plan. And so many of them are scaled up and we are seeing very few very less mortality, very less mortality. And some of them knew that, look, maybe 2 or 3% said we can't do it anymore. We said, all right, just get into suspended animation, hibernation. Maybe after 6 months, you come back and see what to do. Think about it again. Take a break. Go into hibernation like the polar bears do, or maybe the bears do. 6 months, go somewhere, whatever it is. But I think what we are happy is most of them came out of the plans themselves. They thought about it, they did it. And I'm really amazed because when you look around, so many people are grappling what to do, how to do, and everything else. So I think this has been good. And it is, Adil, for young people, who are starting the businesses, are doing something, who've been there 4 or 5 years, maybe 10 years. This is a fantastic opportunity, man. If you are 50 plus and you get hit by a crisis like this, your whole world is gone. But the world has changed. Now, if you're younger and you hit by a crisis like this, it opens up opportunities because you got a good 10, 15 years to really grow and show what to do. And you are coming up in adversity. So this adversity capability is baked into your business model in what you do. So in future, nothing else can shock you. I don't know whether things can get worse than this. 10% reduction in global GDP is I can't think of anything worse than that. So I think they're getting smarter, they're getting beaten up, and they're rising to the occasion, and they got a new source of energy. Survival does wonders to people. Today, I was reading an article about a Sikh soldier who got rid of 12 Chinese. And a young 23-year-old, he gave up his life for us. He's a Veer Gati. He attained Veer Gati. But the man fought. And he had enormous energy. He did it. I mean, everybody set upon him till he was stabbed in the back and killed. But what did he do? Look at that guy. What a hero, right? Now, all these young people have become heroes. They're doing it. So I'm very happy. Because to me, this is an occasion for startups to grow up. They're grown up. They face real life. And I'm sure they will do well.
Yeah, I love the attitude. I get so much energy, or we can feel saying at this the toughest time when everyone is crying, to hear someone say, "This is the time you have to step up. This is the time you have to prove yourself." So that is the attitude. But the attitude, like you said, has driven the operations you called out at Licious, at your story at Byju's. Within 15 days of the crisis hitting, they have rethought their business plan. They've come back to the board. They've presented a plan and they've said, this is what we want to do. So attitude driven action to always find solutions. Very, very impressive. So I'm now going to go to a different
and also,
set of
Adil, one other thing, all of funds within 1 month went back to the investors, said we made a portfolio analysis. This is what it is. This is what they're doing. And we are working with them to make sure this is happening and give them comfort. Because remember, like you said, Adil, the owners of the business are the investors. You're also an investor, the owners, right? I mean, they put the money. So you are a fiduciary agent to take care of the money. Okay? You may own 50%, but you are so long as you've taken 1 penny outside, you are a fiduciary agent. You are not an independent, you're not a person who can decide whatever you want. You have to have a fiduciary agent for all of them. So they all went back to their LPs and spoke to them, comforted them, and the LPs were very happy. And the LPs told them that, look, if you want more money, make a call. We are there. And it worked. So the key thing is, in a crisis, you must get the entire system together and inform them. Information. Keep sending them monthly information. Give them comfort. So everybody is comfortable. And if you fail, it is okay. Because, people understand you tried your best. See, failure when you tried your best, when the people whom you talk to cannot think of anything more, is perfectly okay. But failure when you're not done your best, when you're not stressed, when you're not gone to the unknown and really done everything that could be humanly done, and you fail, that is not forgivable.
Yeah, that's great advice, I think, for your 250 entrepreneurs and 14 investment funds. So fantastic advice and very, very energetic, like the martyred soldier. I'm going to move to the second topic. Now, you have been chairman on the board of SEBI. Currently, you serve as the chairman.
No. Hang on. I was not a chairman. I was a board member of SEBI, and I headed 2 committees for SEBI. I've been a chairman of a primary markets committee. I have not been chairman of SEBI. That's a full-time position. So I'm just a board member of SEBI.
Okay. Thank you for correcting. So I have you also as the chairman of the Regulatory and Financial Technology Committee of SEBI, and you've been advising them on fintech. So in this kind of COVID crisis, Mr. Pai, what is the outlook for banks, for NBFCs, and for fintechs? How is the next 12 months going to be for us?
Well, I think the outlook for everybody is going to be fantastic. And I'll tell you, I'm very optimistic about all the fintechs and all the banks for a simple reason. Our lending to GDP ratio is just 50%. In most countries, 100, 150%. We are an underlent market. So the demand for lending is very, very high. But you have to develop products. You have to develop the skills to meet the demand. Now, look at the NPA issue. Why did the NPA come? NPA came because for maybe 50 large companies, you gave money without doing your homework. If you remove those 50 companies, the risk is a normal risk. Those 50 companies could have an NPA of 8 to 10 lakh crores. The total NPA is 15 lakh crores. If you remove that 8 to 10 lakh crores, the balance is ordinary. You can meet it in 2 or 3 years. It's not a problem. But you gave money to a set of people who had no equity. First, they had no equity. So I don't know how they can give money to somebody who has no equity to set up a steel plant of 40, 50,000 crores, like you've seen in the Bush and steel case, right? I mean, in the public case. How could you give money to a steel trader who had no equity for 40,000 crores? I don't know how they can do it. It's absurd. I mean, none of us can even think of doing that. They did it. So you made all this mistake. So fintechs are not going to make this kind of mistakes. Fintechs, I think, are now learning how to do it. The banks are learning how to do it. And look at the banks that come out successful. HDFC Bank. HDFC Bank, did what they're competent to do, and they did very well. And they got a fantastic franchise. The market cap is down, but the book is very strong. The equity position is very strong. Look at HDFC. Done very well. Look at Bajaj Finance. They done very well. Why? They built great franchises and they did what they knew, and they always did that very well. Even SBI has done remarkably well because they had a bit of a problem, large NPAs, but they have their balance sheet and the cash to get over that, and they've done well. So you've seen all these kind of players. But anybody who did not know risk management, see, banking is a very difficult business because you can get a spread of 3% if you're a bank, or 3.5%. HDFC gets 4.5%. I don't know, they're very, very high. And if you're NBFC, you can get 5 to 6%. But within the spread, you must meet the risk. The spread is there to meet your expenses, to meet for bad loans, and to make sure that you make a profit. Okay. Now the expenses could be 1.5%, 2%. Because you need all those networks. Then what about the risk? Now, if you're NBFC, you're lending at a higher rate. It doesn't mean everything is money. The risk is greater. Your NPA yearly could be 2.5%, 3%. The credit loss could be 2.5%, 3%. For a bank, it could be maybe 1% because they lend to better, more creditworthy customers, right? So NBFC put up capital against people with whom they charge more and take a risk because the pricing has to be there. So I think everybody has learned you got to price in risk. You got to do things in a very different manner. You got to spread risk and don't take outsized risk with people who are investing for the long term without the capital to do it. You need equity to buttress a loan. Loans are not equity. Loans are not equity, okay? And one former great entrepreneur who's no longer in India, has gone away somewhere. The poor guy is in deep trouble. If people think that anything that comes in is revenue, including loans, you are in deep trouble, man. So you got to know, loans have to be repaid. Loans have to be serviced. And equity is something that is there permanently in your business. And loans are there for a short period of time, right? So if you look at all that, I think the change in behavior, people understood how to manage risk. And people are now thinking that how to create a portfolio where I can price it properly, I can earn a decent return. And I think the scope is enormous. We are an underlend market and we're going to grow.
You brought up a good point. Outstanding credit in India is 98 lakh crore. GDP is 200 lakh crore, less than 50% total banking credit outstanding to GDP. I want to probe you on consumer. We believe at Bank Bazaar that given this COVID phenomenon, people are going to want contactless access to financial products. That means on your mobile phone, digital KYC. You've spoken a lot on India Stack and what the new experience is going to be. Now, if you look at it as a consumer, do you feel that financial access is going to be different going forward compared to what it was in the past?
Well, I would like to see financial access very different from what is in the past. And I must say in the past, I've been very disappointed because you as a banker should judge the creditworthiness of your customer. How do you judge the creditworthiness of a customer? By looking at their income, looking at their track record, looking at what they have done in the past, and seeing whether they have the capacity to earn in the future. And if they want credit, you be able to give to them. I mean, you can give credit in 24 hours. There's nothing great that you have to do. All right, because if all the information is there, suppose I give you my bank account for the last 10 years. You have a look at all the statements, you put it through. You should know my cash flows. You should know what it is. And I assure you that I'm working. I give you evidence I'm still working. And I got my ability. I give you my personal balance sheet. I write it down. You should be able to give me credit. Now, what is there to look? I don't understand why personal credit should be so difficult. You're taking a risk, but you're pricing in the risk. Why should it be so difficult for anybody to give credit to people? Because most people want a small amount of credit because the mismatch of cash flows, one, or they want to buy some house, or they want to buy something for their personal comfort, right? So I think, so I think for personal loans, there's a great time. I think things are going to change. One. Second, very importantly, people have learned in the traditional banking system that the NPA in the personal loan business is much lower than it has been in industry or agriculture. You look at MSMEs for SBI, I think is 15%. Agriculture is 17%. The large corporates, because of this lump sum NPA, had huge NPAs, right? Infrastructure NPAs are something like 15-20%, right? Whereas for consumers, only 3 to 4% for banks, and maybe for some of the NBFCs, 4 to 5% because of what they're going through now. Normally, it's 2 to 3%. So it's a very good safe portfolio because the portfolio is diversified across the thousands of people, and thousands of people are there. Third, we have a credit rating system today where everybody has got a credit mark. So that willful default, that people will take the money and go away, is not possible. You can always track people, and if you do willful default, will be shut out of the system. The people are that much more careful. Nobody wants to be shut out of the system because it become a part of the whole system, right? You want to do that for the next many years. And the last point which I have to do is you have to look at growth. Where is growth going to come from? There is no investment happening. The economy is stalling for the next 1 or 2 years. It will take 1 year to come back. The only growth will be in personal loans and the personal loan portfolio because deposits are coming in. There's a huge flow of money coming in because the central bank and the government are borrowing more money. When the money gets disbursed into the economy, that money comes back as bank deposits, right? And the velocity of circulation of money has come down. That means the lending multiple is down. So if you get too much of money, you got to pay interest. How much more interest are you going to cut? So you have to lend money. So I think we are going to see contactless lending. We are going to see productized lending like foreign banks do. We're going to see instant credit. We're going to see information-based lending, AI-based lending, all that going to come. And to me, the outstanding example has been Bajaj Finance. They built a fantastic portfolio. And Sanjeev was telling me sometime in Singapore that he's got some millions of people coming and his AI algorithm runs and all that. And for them, you price everything in. One COVID hits you, you lose 6%, have a 6%, 10% NPA, you write it off and you go ahead because your spread is 8-10%. Is 1 year spread gone? Okay, fine. Just write it off because this COVID is not going to happen year after year, right? People are going to come back. So I think these are good. These are going to change.
Yeah, absolutely, Mr. Pai. So I think that's the kind of conversations we've been having with our bank partners. One, Experian as an investor, the bureau in Bank Bazaar, that the retail credit portfolio has the lowest NPA amongst portfolio types. And the future is going to be contactless. It's going to happen in minutes. It's going to be instantaneous. So fully agreed with you on that.
And Adil, let me take you an extra. Adil, tell me, SBI has got 22,000 branches, 22,000 branch managers. Can't each branch manager identify 50 of his best customers and tell them, hey, I want to give you a 2 lakh loan, take it. I want to give you a car, take it. I want to give you a house, take it, right?
Right.
I mean, if they do 20, there's 45,000 people. If they do 100, each one will be having a few thousand accounts, right? And they got a track record of the money coming in the SBI account, current account for so long. The intelligence is there. The data is there. Everything is there. They have to think like a lender and they have to give the money, not sit back.
Hello, everyone. I think we've had a few tech issues, but I hope you found the discussion with Mr. Mohandas Pai inspiring, which I did, and useful. So with that, I'm going to be signing off. Please follow my LinkedIn page. We have a lot of interesting shows coming up weekly, and you can stay updated on same. Goodbye, and stay safe till we speak next time.